My name is Peterson, and I'm a nurse practitioner here at Johnson Memorial Health Services. When Callie asked me to put together a little video for ECFE, I was so excited because I can totally relate to all of you parents in this stage of life. I have 3 kids of my own. My daughter Esther is 8 years old and in 3rd grade in Dawson. And then my son Orville is 3 and Oaken is 20 months. And so I think that we all are in it together, certainly through this pandemic, and trying to juggle it all as parents. Today I wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about the 5-2-1-0 rule. 5-2-1-0 was developed as a part of the of the 2020 Healthy Living Initiative with the CDC. And I think that it's been a really great rule of thumb for me to remember as a parent, as well as a nurse practitioner, just in helping families to remember some healthy things to live by. So 5-2-1-0-5 helps you to remember a goal of 5 fruits and vegetables. And so sometimes that seems really intimidating, but when you break it down and you think about it, kids in the age range between 2 and 3, they really need to have about a cup of fruit and a cup of vegetables a day. Kids from about 4 to 8 need to have a cup and a half of vegetables and a cup to a cup and a half of fruit. And so when you think about 5 in each category, I try to just say 5 total, between 5 fruits and vegetables, 5 total, but a cup in each category. And keeping in mind that the more different varieties of fruits and vegetables, the better. So you maybe heard of like eating from the rainbow. Different colored fruits and vegetables all bring different vitamins and minerals and antioxidants and fiber content to the table. I would say when you think about fruits and vegetables, think about eating the whole fruit or vegetable and maybe trying to avoid the juice as much as possible. Juice is fun, and juice is even something that WIC provides many families, but at the end of the day, there's no fiber in juice for the most part. And so fiber is really needed in our fruits and vegetables because while there's some sugar in fruit, it slows down the release of the sugar so that we can digest it more easily. And the fiber really helps with our digestive systems. So think of that. I like to add in fruits and vegetables to hot dishes that I make. I also like to make sure that I have fruits and vegetables cut up and fresh in the refrigerator, so it's an easy, quick snack to grab when you're in a hurry. I also like to incentivize my kiddos with some dip, whether you buy a tub of low-fat sour cream and add in a packet of ranch dressing, or you do a tub of yogurt as more of a fruit dip. Those are all really good options to incentivize kids. And then lastly, I would just say that the more that you can be a good example for fruits and vegetable eating, the better. So when you're sitting around the table at meal times, make sure that you as parents are also eating your fruits and vegetables, and that if somebody at the table has an opinion about a fruits and vegetables that they don't like, that they keep that opinion to themselves. At our table, we talk about zipping the lip if we have one vegetable that we're not so fond of, because younger siblings do pick up on older siblings' tendencies that way. Next, so 5-2-1-0, so the 2 stands for less than 2 hours of screen time. And that even seems kind of generous when I'm talking to ECFE parents, because your kiddos are really in that younger category. And so for 2 years or younger, the recommendation is really no screen time. Then from ages 2 and 3, 2, 3, 4, and 5 really, they recommend an hour or less of screen time, and then 5 and above is where we see the 2 hours of screen time. Around screen time, we recommend that it's important to monitor that, because it's been shown that kiddos who get more than their fair share of screen time end up with lower reading scores. And they also have difficulty with attention, so problems with inattention and hyperactivity and some of these things. And so trying to really just kind of put some boundaries around that screen time depending on the age of your kiddos. It's helpful sometimes to pre-plan your screen time usage for kids. So knowing that there's going to be a consistent routine, maybe on Friday nights you do family movie night, or you know that on the weekends we get to do a movie with the family, or that every day they get to watch their half an hour, you know, episode of something educational. But flipping on the TV as sort of like more of a distraction, or just kind of an easy go-to thing, sometimes it gets away from us then the amount of screen time that our kiddos are getting. I think that we all need to be kind to ourselves in terms of screen time, especially during a pandemic, and just having kiddos home more with less extracurricular activities, but it's something to keep in mind. I also find that timers are really handy, especially for the little ones. Then when the timer goes off, we're done with screen time, and you don't have to be the bad guy. The timer can kind of be the bad guy. So 52101 stands for at least an hour of physical activity. So when I say an hour of physical activity, the recommendation is really that about 2/3 of that activity be where they're doing moderate exercise, so breathing a little bit harder, you know, jump roping, skipping, playing ball, out for a hike, taking a walk, riding their bike, these kind of things that are going to get their heart rate up, but not necessarily make it be so that they can't talk and do the activity at the same time. Then 1/3 of that activity, or about 20 minutes of that activity, should be where they are really sweating and they're working hard, moving their bodies. So maybe that's more like basketball or running, those kind of activities. I think that it's good that when we can use activity as a form of a reward for kids. So at the end of the day, kids just want our time, and it's good for us as parents too to have an excuse to get out and move our bodies. And families that really are physically active together, those kiddos grow up to be more physically active too in their older years. And so just keeping that in mind, an hour of physical activity a day as a goal. And then 0 stands for zero sugary sweetened beverages, or zero sugar. I find it especially important to just keep in mind the sugary sweetened beverages piece of things. And so any of the beverages that end with aid or drink, or punch, like those are going to be things that are going to be kind of hidden sugar and not a lot of like nutritional value. So trying to keep that in mind, maybe reserving the juice boxes and things like that for more of a special occasion, but not something that we need to do on a daily basis, because we know that kiddos that get extra sugary sweetened beverages have more trouble with dental decay, as well as childhood obesity. And so keeping that in mind. In that same vein, encouraging your kiddos to drink more water, especially in this younger age range. Their bodies are made up of 70 to 80% water. And so you think about the amount of hydration that it takes, especially when they're physically active. It takes a lot. And so having like a fun water bottle that's all their own that they can fill up and keep track of can be helpful. And then just also adding in that dairy is another beverage that is certainly good to do. And so for kiddos that are under the age of 4, they need about 2 cups or 16 ounces or so of milk in a day. And then for kiddos that are above 4, they need to have closer to 20 ounces of milk in a day. And if you're a family whose kids don't tolerate dairy, there's options too for almond milk or soy milk. The goal there is making sure that they're getting their calcium in. And so I will say one more thing about sugar. I think that we all know as parents to avoid it as much as possible, but sugar really also just kind of gets in the way of children's attention. It ends up being something that gives them a lot of energy on the front side, and then they crash on the back side. And so it can really end up leading to some trouble with mood, trouble with sleep, trouble with appetite. And then extra sugar in kids' diet really does kill good gut microbes. So we have a healthy amount of bacteria in our gut, and things like fruits and vegetables and unprocessed whole grain foods, those things really feed the gut microbiome and keep us out of trouble with constipation, those kind of things. But extra sugar in kids' diet really does contribute to constipation and poor gut microbiome health. And the more that we learn about the gut microbiome, the more that we know that it's really connected to the brain. So it's how healthy our gut is really drives our mood and our sleep patterns, things like that. So that is the 5-2-1-0 rule. Just for review, 5 stands for 5 fruits and vegetables a day, 2 stands for less than 2 hours of screen time a day, 1 stands for at least an hour of physical activity a day, and 0 stands for 0 sugary sweetened beverages. So I hope this is a little helpful little slogan to go by as we finish out the winter months and into the new year. Thanks so much for your time and attention today. It's been a privilege to talk to all of you ECFE parents. Take care.